Do you experience migraine, or maybe you feel like your neck or your shoulders are stiff? Okay, do you also sometimes feel like you are no longer that much interested in things that usually excite you? Or maybe you find that your temper, your fuse is now getting shorter than before. If you have, chances are you may be experiencing stress. Okay, now, but is stress really bad for you? Is there anything more to that? So if you are affected by stress right now, then this episode is for you, because in today's episode of the Look Bong Show, I'm bringing on a very special guest who is going to share with you the secrets of what to do or how to deal with your stress. So stay on to find out. Hello everybody, welcome to the Look Bong Show. Thank you very much for joining me in today's episode. Now today is Friday and it's 8 p.m. So I know that Fridays at 8 p.m. usually it's out for dinner, party, movies and all that, but you choose to spend it with me. And for that, I'm really honored, and I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Now, for those of you who are first or very new to this show, my name is Look Bong, and I'm an accredited NLP trainer and a certified hypnotherapist. Now, the Look Bong Show is all about empowering you with the skills, the tips, and necessary knowledge, okay, that will empower you to achieve emotional freedom in your life. Now, we have had previous episodes that talk about self-sabotage. We have talked about depression, and also in the last week's episode, we were talking about insomnia. Okay, so you can watch all those episodes that are live but have now been recorded, and you can follow up with it. Okay. So tonight's interview has been pre-recorded with our guest, and before I show you the interview, I would like to tell you a bit more about Nick first. Okay, so his name is Nick Ong, and you'll find that he is a very handsome man. Okay, now so Nick is a certified master hypnotherapist. Okay, and he is the founder of Violet Light Life Coaching and Training. Okay, now he is also a certified hypnotherapist with the U.S. National Guild of Hypnotists, otherwise also known as NGH. Now, he is a certified clinical hypnotherapist and awarded with the General Qualification in Hypnotherapy Practice by the UK General Hypnotherapy Register. Now, Nick is also a certified regressionist, a certified NLP practitioner, a practitioner member of the Malaysian Society of Complementary Medicine, and he is also a PSMB certified trainer and training provider. Now, so Nick did not start off as a hypnotist. In fact, he was a mechanical engineering degree holder and a trained mechanical engineer. Okay, so what got him to become a hypnotherapist today? Well, it was because he was intrigued by the powerful impact on the mental and physical aspects of human health conditions. Now, in 2006, he began exploring about regression, hypnotherapy, and the unconscious mind, and that started the whole thing. And since then, he has helped a lot of people to overcome their physical, emotional disorders using techniques like regression therapy, timeline therapy, parts integration, emotional freedom techniques. So I first met Nick online actually, and when we had the discussion, my first thought was that, man, this is a young man, all right? And I started to put on this big brother thing and all that, right? Only to discover later that he was actually older than me, but he looked so much younger than me. Oh, maybe I should bring him on the next episode and teach you about the secret of his youthfulness, all right? Okay, so in today's episode, I'm actually interviewing Nick, and the topic is about stress. Is it a foe or is it a friend? And you will find it very interesting because Nick will be sharing with you his own findings about what stress is, as well as sharing some of his personal stories about his clients who has experienced stress and what he does with it. So I'm not going to delay this any further, and please join me as I welcome Nick Ong onto this live show now. Hello, everybody, and I just want to welcome you to the Look Bong Show again. Now, today we have a very special guest, and it's none other than Nick Ong, who is a certified hypnotherapist who is based in Penang. And today I've invited him, and I'm just so thankful for Nick to be agreeing to come onto the show to share with you about what is stress, how to deal with it. Specifically, today's topic is about stress. Is it a foe or is it a friend? So, Nick, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Luke. It's an honor to be on your show. I've been following your show since the very first episode, and I think you have done a very good job.
Thank you so much, Nick. And I'm really glad that today you are actually the very first guest that I have on this show. Do you know that?
Wow, this makes the honor even better.
All right, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Okay, so let's get on with it because I'm sure that our audience here, they really want to learn from you. Yeah. Okay, so Nick, can you tell me? Maybe I'll just go to the main question first. Okay. Is stress the enemy or not? Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone. All the audience on Luke Bong Show. My name is Nick. I'm very glad to be here tonight. And so to answer Luke's questions, now probably I would like to throw this question to all of you instead, right? So what do you think? Is stress a friend or is stress your enemy? Now, a lot.
Okay, before Nick continue, yeah. Now, Nick has just thrown you a question, so please feel free to type in your comment. Okay, type in your comment so that we can come back to you. Do you think that stress is a friend or is stress an enemy? Let us know in the comment section. Okay, back to you, Nick.
Now, usually when I conduct trainings or when I conduct workshops, I like to throw these questions to the participants because I really want to know their perspective. And to be honest, not to our surprise, most of the people think that stress is bad. Now, if you think about it, why do we think stress is bad? Probably it's been, we have been conditioned to think that stress is bad because in the news or, from all the knowledge that we learn about health, it all points to that stress is the main cause for diseases and all that. And stress is also the main cause for any mental illnesses. So naturally, everyone, including myself, before I learn all this, is that I think that stress is really bad. It's the worst thing in the world that we should all eliminate stress. So
yeah,
I'm sure that
right. Yeah.
So I'm sure that probably some of you might have already written that stress is bad and things like that. And I'll be quite surprised if some of you actually mentioned that stress is good because who would want stress in the first place? Would you, Luke? Would you want stress in the first place?
Yeah, that's true. It's like, nobody will want to ask for trouble. Yeah, because I remember every time, even 10 years ago when I was working in a company, everyone just talk about stress as if it is a monster, it's a very scary thing. And then they will say things like, you are so stressed out, you have to go and, release your stress and things like that. So I think naturally a lot of people will feel that stress is an enemy. In fact, stress will lead to all kinds of health problems and all that. Yeah. So would that be true, or is there something else that we don't know? Yeah.
Now, those people that think that stress is bad, they are not alone. In fact, majority of people think so. Now, the thing is that very little people know that stress is actually a natural response.
Right? A natural response.
Natural response. In fact, if you study a little bit more about what the nature of stress is, you know that it's actually a response from our body, right? Whenever we encounter any challenges or even threat. And to be honest, right, our natural body response, right, actually comes a long way. Right, even from the time of our ancestor in the caveman era, right? This response is already built in all our body, and it's actually built into our DNA. So now some of you might actually ask, why do we have stress? The thing is that stress is actually, if I tell you that, would you believe that if I tell you that stress is actually the very reasons that humans actually survive?
Yeah, I think I do agree with that also. And I think not just humans, I think the apes, if you believe in evolution and things like that, probably they have this survival instinct as well. Because I think to a lot of us, we go to school and things like that. I think one of the reasons why a lot of us study for exam was because of stress, right? If there was no stress and things like that, probably we won't be doing much, So it's just be like, just enjoy ourselves and all that. So yeah, I totally agree with you that stress is something that causes us to do something, to take action.
Yes, exactly. So you see that when people don't have any stress, right? So they don't have motivation. They don't feel like doing anything at all, because if I do it, it's the same. If I don't do it, it's also the same. It's like, how we Malaysians say it, tak apa. We don't really care. It doesn't matter if I do it or not. But
Yeah.
as stress starts to build up, then we start to have motivation, that we have reasons to do something, and then we start to become focused, and then we start to draw upon our own potentials, right? Our strength, and then to carry out certain tasks. But now the issue here is not that stress is bad, but how much stress is bad and how much stress is good. This is actually the main questions that we really need to answer, because that if we look at the chart, the relationship between stress and performance, it actually shows a bell curve, right? So probably at this point of time, maybe I can actually share with the audience how this curve look like. Then so we understand a little bit more, shall we?
Yes, please do that. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just share my screen.
Okay, so while Nick is getting the thing ready, so I think one of the things that we can actually look here, which is a question, which is like stress, and it can transform into motivation. So there's one big question, and that is how much stress for a person to become motivated, and how much stress for a person to go up the other side, which is like ended up not motivated at all. Okay, so the slide is up there. All right, Nick, take it away.
Okay, so now everyone, let's have a look at this this graph here, right? So in this slide, you see a graph that on the vertical axis, of course, is we see the performance, yeah, and then on the horizontal axis, we see that the stress level. If you look at the graph, right, it actually shows a bell curve. So let's start from the very left and the bottom side. So you see that when their stress is low, performance is low, and it's logical because that we don't have any reason to take action, right? So now as we slowly move up, right, and our motivation start to build up, right, and then we will reach a point where we call this optimal stress. Okay, so there's such thing as optimal stress. That means that the best stress level you should have to ensure that you have the highest performance. That this, be it whether you are working or even you are athlete, that you want to give out your very best, in a competition and all that, you really need to maintain an optimal stress level to ensure the optimum performance. Now, this is what we call the peak performance, right? So now if you cross that line, the line of the optimal stress level, we call that stress overload. That means the stress is too much, it's excessive. Okay, yeah. And this is when we start to see problem. So if we go back to the beginning of the chart, right? So on the left side is inactive, is bored because you really have really low motivation and reason to do anything. As slowly that we build up the stress level, then you enter what we call the healthy tension. Healthy tension meaning that you have the reason now you're starting to get excited that you want to take some action. And you feel motivated. And as the stress continues to build up a little bit more, you become more focused. So now, at this point, probably I'll throw this question to the audience, right? Have any of you ever experienced any point in time in your life that because that you have certain stress level, you become focused, and you become so focused and you become so effective either in doing your work or doing anything or even study in your studies, right? Then it becomes so you become so efficient, and then you get so much better outcome because of this stress level and because of your focus. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, please share with us, in the comment section. Share with us your story, all right? Let us know. Because I'm sure those who are watching, and as well as those who will be watching the replay, when they actually read your comment, all right, it'll be very meaningful for them as well. Yeah, so if you have a story, please feel free to share with us, all right?
That's right. So let's make this interactive so that we can get the most out of this, right? Okay. Now after that, of course, we reach the peak performance level. Now what happened next, right? Is after you cross the optimal stress level, the first sign that you will observe is that you're going to feel fatigue, right? You're going to feel tired because that no one can actually maintain very high stress level for a really long time. So after some time, you're going to mentally feel fatigue or even physically feel fatigue. All right, and that's that's a very early sign that your body is telling you that, hey, probably I'm having too much stress now, right? So probably it's time for me to relax a little bit, get myself more centered, and so that I don't burn out, right? So this is a very early sign that everyone should actually look for. Okay, now if like most people, even this early sign has shown up and you really pay little attention or totally ignore it, what's going to happen next is that you're going to feel exhausted, right? The feeling of tiredness is going to increase so much that you feel that you are completely exhausted, that you have no energy to do anything else. And if you're not taking care of yourself at this stage, yeah, probably the stress level is going to cause panic in you, right? You're going to be panicky. That very little thing is going to get on your nerve
and all that. Yeah, cause you to get worried, having anxiety.
Exactly, and then anxiety is the next thing. Yeah, look, you are a fortune teller. You can tell. Okay, so anxiety is the next one that you start to feel anxious. You start to worry about almost everything in life. And then you're going to get angry because, anger is just a natural response of everyone, that feel attacked or they feel threatened. Yeah? So anger is a very natural response. So when you feel that you're overwhelmed, that you are not able to deal with these so-called perceived threats, then you feel angry. You're going to feel angry, and then you're going to, people around you is going to feel, notice that you start to have a lot of temper, and this is also a sign that you are actually overloaded with stress. Now, finally, if you continue to have more and more stress after that, then you start to feel burnout. And to be honest, right, if we look at the research in the corporate world, this is the main reason why employees quit their job. Because they feel completely burnt out. They don't have anything to contribute anymore because mentally they're burnt out, physically they're burnt out. Yeah. And then after that, of course, they're going to break down. Break down meaning that mentally, physically. If it's mental, then probably they'll get into like depression. If it's physically, probably they're going to get sick. They're going to get disease. So
we have also heard a lot of examples whereby there are employees who actually work and then die at their desk only to be discovered like 2-3 days later and all that. So I think those are also evidence or the results of prolonged stress overload, whereby they get sick but they don't realize it. Now let me just ask you a question, okay? So to the viewers, now have you ever experienced this? You are not sure whether are you on peak performance state or are you on the fatigue exhausted stage? No, it's like this. You have been working very hard all the time, and then after that you are performing very well, but your results or your performance may drop a little bit, but you are telling yourself, I need to work harder, so perhaps according to what Nick is saying there, maybe what happened here is you have unknowingly or entered into the stress overload zone already. Okay, so the key here is like, your mind might be telling you, I can do this, hustle, but your body is telling you, I need a break, man. Come on, I need a break. So this is something that I think if you really think about it, audience, everyone, perhaps you have experienced it many times before, just that probably you don't realize it. Okay, Nick, sorry to interrupt you. Please continue, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that, Luke, you bring out this point, because that probably I would like to share a story that, about 2 months ago, I conducted a training, and the training is all about to make stress your friend at work. That's the title of the training that I conduct, to help basically the corporate world to better manage their stress level, to ensure they have their optimal performance. And I remember that in this company, there are contract director who is happens to be one of the very important person in the company. And when we start the training, he told me that, Nick, my stress level is actually seasonal. Sometimes I get very stressed up, then after that I relax. So I think I'm managing my stress pretty well. So I said, yeah, that's fine. That's very good, in fact, so I congratulate him. And during the training, there was a part where we put on this device this medical device to measure the stress level of all the participants. And then, of course, this director, he volunteered, he came out and then said, I know I'm managing my stress well, but I just want to know, to prove it, with the device, and then, to ensure that I know exactly what's happening to myself. So I said, yeah, why not, just come out. And then I hooked up the machines, then I measured, and then boom, he saw the monitor, he saw the screen that his stress level is actually off the roof. and at that point he just realized that, I thought I'm managing my stress well, but my body is telling me otherwise. And this happens to so many people. A lot of people, most of us, we think that, okay, I think I'm okay. Sometimes you think you're okay, it's just because that you have already conditioned yourself, or you have already get used to the high stress level environment. The thing is that even though you have get used to that, your body is still feeling the stress. As clearly how the device actually measured, the body is actually experiencing stress, even though he thought he's not feeling stressful. So this is to share with the audience that sometimes you might think that I'm managing my stress well and things like that, but your body might be saying otherwise.
Yes, and I think the body doesn't lie. That's the interesting thing, because the body, the different organs, they are controlled by the unconscious mind, which is something beyond our conscious control. So one of the things that for me personally, if I'm going through stress, I find that the first thing that will happen to me is that my neck will begin to experience tightness as well as muscle spasm. In fact, 2 days ago, I went to do an X-ray for my neck because I was like really feeling it, in the neck, only to realize that I have this condition that is called as loss of cervical lordosis. Okay, which, if for those of you who are not sure what that is, okay. Let me tell it to you this way. A normal human being, a healthy human being, your neck is there is a natural arc. It's like a little bit like this bend. Guess what? My neck is straight like a broomstick. And as a result of that, it actually causes me to experience this, what do you call this, the neck spasm and all that. But to me, it's like a good indicator, an indicator that tells me that you need to take a break because you are probably going to burn out and things like that. So that is something that I think is an inbuilt indicator for me about stress.
Yes. And as I mentioned, right, actually in the market, there are a lot of devices that can actually help you to give you a clear indications that, whether your body is actually in stress. And, you might, the key word to search for is, of course, heart rate variability, HRV. Right. So if you can just Google that, then probably you can maybe look for a device that can help you to measure that. So at least you know exactly where your stress level is.
So once again, it's called HRV. And the full name again, what is it, Nick? Full name again?
So what I'm going to do is that as this recording is playing, I'll be putting a comment in the video to show everyone. So, but here I'll just read it out again. It's called heart rate. Your heart rate variability. That means being variable, that whether the heartbeat is regular, up and down. So it's HRV, heart rate variability.
What's the price range like from the different? I'm sure there are different brands in the market. So roughly in between.
So I think there are the whole sea of new product, because lately we are seeing a boom of the wearable electronics that you can measure your heart rate, you can measure your whether you are in deep sleep and so on. That right now even some of the wearable smartwatch, they have this functionality. So all you need to do is check on the specification whether they have the HRV. Some even is like a ring, that you can wear as a ring, and then and of course that one is not cheap. That's a few hundred US dollars. So the one that I have is more suitable for me to use in a training environment, where it's going to plug into your earlobe, and then it's going to and then connect to a laptop, and then you can see the thing. But of course there are some that you can connect to your phone, so it's very convenient. So as long as you Google HRV, heart rate variability devices in internet, you see a whole range. They ranges from maybe over 100 US dollars to even maybe 200 or 300 US dollars.
Wow. Yeah, as you're saying about that, the one that is made with the ring, and suddenly I was like, maybe those who are planning to get married now, you can consider to invest in that as your wedding ring. And let me teach you how to use it. So next time if your spouse is giving you stress, right, and you just show the ring, and it's like, you see, my stress level is very high up now. All right. So the things that people can invent.
So now the question is okay, now if I know that my stress level is high, so what do I do? Because that the idea is not to think about ways for you to eliminate stress all over altogether, because that we all need stress, because if we don't have a healthy level of stress, we don't take action, just to put it that way. We at work, we don't feel motivated, we don't put up the great performance and all that. So we need certain level of stress. Now the thing is that how do we ensure that we maintain our stress level to be always the big question, right? So now the thing is that remember just now I share the charts, right? The moment when you cross the optimal stress level, you start to feel fatigue. Okay, so that is a very good indicator that probably your stress is a little bit excessive. You might not need the device, but as long as when you start to feel fatigue once in a while or pretty frequent, the frequency of your feeling of fatigue is a good indicator that how much have you crossed over to the other side, to the
now,
bad
I just want
stress
to
level.
explain that fatigue a little bit. Fatigue basically just means that you feel tired for no apparent reason. So you could be like, for example, you just wake up in the morning and you're supposed to have a good night's sleep, but you have fatigue, you are feeling very tired. Or suddenly like your friend asks you, hey, let's go and watch the latest movie, and you are like, nah, no thanks, I'm too tired to do that. So if you find yourself, right, very often you exhibit signs or I would say symptoms like that is fatigue. You may be going into the stress zone already, stress overload.
Right. So the moment when you experience, or the moment that you notice that you have already seen some of these signs, then the body is actually telling you that, hey, pal, we are having a too much stress lately. It's time for us to unwind a little bit, bring ourselves back, so that we can continue to put on the good work at work, or maybe performance in sports, or whatever that it is. So now the question is that we need to find a way to bring us the moment when we feel fatigue, to bring us back, so we maintain ourselves plus minus, right? Plus minus along, on both sides of the optimal stress level, to ensure that we get the best performance.
Yeah, I like your analogy of like the both sides, because I think it will be almost impossible for any normal human being, lay people and all that, to just be like right in the center of peak performance all the time, because that is just too much to ask, and it's not possible as well.
There's no way. You're right. Look, that is too much to ask for a normal human being. We are not computers. We're not robots, right? We don't find, we don't calibrate ourselves to be dead on, right? We are humans. We are living organism. So our stress levels tend to fluctuate. But the point is the problem is not for it to fluctuate, but it's okay for it to fluctuate. But the moment when we feel that we have gone overboard, and it's time that we bring ourselves back.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
there are so many ways that there's so many ways that you can do for
Mm.
you to maintain your
Just like
stress
that,
level, to
yeah.
distress. So
Mm,
some people, they actually exercise. Yeah.
mm,
So exercise is actually, when you work out, when you exercise, is a very good way for you to release stress, because that whenever we have stress, yeah, whenever our body is feeling a lot of stress, there's actually a lot of energy built up in your body, especially in your muscles, right?
mm, mm.
And that is a way how the body actually prepares us for action. In those days that when we facing any danger or any
Yeah.
threatening animals, right? The
Mm,
body will put all the resources, for example, the blood, the sugar level, pump it up so that
yeah.
it prepares us to take some drastic action, or to run away, or to fight off the predators. So
Mhm.
all this energy is actually built up in your muscles, right? In your system. And then when you exercise, you actually release all these energies, into your
Mm.
workout, and at the
Yeah.
same time you get the physical benefits.
Mm. And also, when it comes to exercise, yeah, one of the things is like if a person is under stress, maybe at work and things like that, the body releases a lot of stress hormones, also known as
Yeah.
cortisol. Yeah, those are the things that if you build up a lot over time, that will be the
Mm.
one that causes you all kinds of health problems. Yeah, and
Yes.
when you go for exercise, now when I say exercise, I'm talking about exercise that is suitable for you. Okay, you don't have to go rock climbing if you have never done exercise before, because if you do exercise that strain your body too much, instead of releasing good hormones such as the serotonin and all that, you will also be releasing cortisol as well. Like
Yeah.
they have done a lot of research. Yeah, bodybuilders, especially those who are like they lift a few hundred kilograms and all that. Although it's an exercise, it releases a lot of cortisol in their body as well. So this is something that So if you want to do exercise, guys, all right, choose an exercise that you can enjoy, because when you enjoy it, you are not going to be stressed out. All right, can you imagine? All right, if you want to go for an exercise, and instead of enjoying it, you feel so stressed all about it. Hey, come on! Before you exercise, already you start to stress already. Yeah, so this is the purpose.
Yeah. So I'm glad that Luke, actually you brought up the term cortisol. Yeah, cortisol, everyone, like Luke had just pointed out, cortisol is a stress hormone, and it is being excreted in your body whenever you start to feel stressful. In fact, cortisol is a good measurement, right? It's a good marker to indicate that whether anyone is actually having high risk to get any cancer. Because the thing is that cortisol, we call it a stress hormone. In fact, it's actually a form of steroids. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
form of
for
steroids
steroid,
that,
huh?
yeah,
Okay.
steroids that the body actually produce, to help us to boost our physical strength and all that, to fight off all the predators or run away from danger. Now,
Mhm.
when of course, there's a reason for this cortisol is to protect us, right? For in extreme environment. But the thing is that after the danger has subsided, or after we are already no longer in the danger, the
Mhm.
body will automatically get back to what we call a relaxed mode. A more technical term would be the parasympathetic nervous system. It will kicks in. So,
Mhm.
but you don't have to remember all this jargon, all this term is not important to you. But
Yeah.
for all of you, just know that our bodies is supposed to get back to a relaxed state, right?
Mm.
Where our digestive system can actually work, where our heart rate slows down, that is not taking such a toll on our body, right? So for us, the body to repair itself. But the thing is that in modern days, all of us, we don't face the saber-toothed tiger, right?
Yes,
But
yes. No,
we
some of us
face
do. It's called the boss.
yeah, we have our bosses, we have our clients, we have our customers, sometimes our children, right? It's
Yeah,
giving
true,
us
true.
a lot of stress, or our spouse, right? So,
Mm.
and they don't go away, to be honest. They are not like the tiger. You only see the tiger for such a short time, right? But
Yeah.
all these people and all these issues and all these problems that's coming together with them actually stay in our mind. And just imagine that this imagined saber-toothed tiger
Mhm.
lives in our mind all the time, and your
Yeah.
body is always in this fight or flight mode. this highly stressed mode. And then imagine that if your body has this cortisol level maintained over a long period of time. We all know that steroid is bad, right? Right?
When you overuse it.
Yeah. What does steroids? What is the main side effect of steroids?
From what I know is that it actually destroys the body, and for guys and all that. So it actually like too much of these growth hormones and things like that, which actually can cause a guy to become, I don't know, it's like unable to produce offspring and things like that. I mean, those are the things that I heard of anyway.
It's really serious, right? Why don't we throw this question to the audience? What do you know about steroids? Now, cortisol is a natural steroids that our body produce whenever we are in stress. So steroids, that is all bad, right? So just share with us what you know about the side effect of steroids. Now, as you are sharing with us and in the comments, let me share with you. Steroid, actually, the main side effects of steroid is suppressing your immune system.
Okay.
All right. So now our immune system is the main protection for diseases like cancer, or maybe some infections. So our immune system is our guards, our security guards of our body, to ensure that our body is always healthy. Now steroid suppresses our immune system. That means it makes them harder to do their job. So when our immune system is lower, we tend to get sick easily. So that's why you see that people that get stressed up, too much, right? They get flu very easily. They get sick very easily. Sore throat, running nose. This is already a sign the body is telling you that, hey, we are having too much stress. Our immune system is impaired. So let's relax, and so that our cortisol level can come down. All right. Then our immune system can get back up to do its job. And in the recent years, the research and studies in cancer shows that the main reason for cancer to be developed is because our immune system is being suppressed.
And I want to add something to that. I remember about like 10 years ago, before I became a trainer, I was working in the corporate world. There's always this thing, what do you call this? The Cantonese version of it is called tahan bang, tahan say. Right? Got time to get sick, but no time to die. Okay, so but one of the things I noticed is that I fall sick when I go on annual leave. It's as if the body knows when it's like, okay, nothing going on now, time to get sick. All right. And by the time it's ready to go back to work at the end of the annual leave, it's like, okay, go back to feeling healthy again. But I know now that is actually a sign that my body is telling me you are burning out yourself. So to the audience here, our viewers here, if you also find that you somehow or another, you always choose to get sick on holidays or weekend when it's time to rest, it is a very good sign that your body is telling you you need to do something, because you are probably under long-term stress as well.
So now, something interesting to share is that I once have a client, right? And the client has some really interesting trend. Like every month, right? In every month, he will definitely fall sick 1 to 2 days. Right. And then whenever he goes to the doctor, the symptom is always the same: sore throat, or maybe some viral infection. It's always this issue. Right. And then the doctor is checked. Hey, why are you always falling sick every day? Even the boss is asking, hey, maybe you should look into this. Is there something wrong with your body? But he went and he went and did the checkup. His body is perfectly healthy, but he just falls sick every month, 1 to 2 days. And how he got better is he just take MC, rest at home and doing nothing and just relax. After that, a few days later, he's back as good. And how I managed to help him is that we understand that the root cause for these symptoms is in fact excessive stress level. So of course we work on certain emotional issues. We work on the technique and method for him to manage his stress level. And after we do that, right, he stopped falling sick every month.
Yeah, because I know in some countries, yeah, they are now acknowledging the mental health as a real issue, yeah, and a lot of sicknesses that causes employees to take MC medical leaves and all that actually takes root, yeah, from the
Yeah,
mental health like stress, depression, anxiety, and all that.
yeah,
So sometimes these employees they are allowed to take a mental health break. Okay, so it's actually something that is formalized. And the other day I was just speaking to someone from let me remember what country was that. Oh, from the US. Okay, this lady from Houston. And I was like telling her, I read about this, and she was like, "Yeah, we do that. Okay, it's something that in my country we are allowed to do that. Take mental health break and things like that. Yeah. So now, if let's say you are an employee right now, and I don't suggest that you go and demand for a mental health break, but if let's say you are a boss, you are an employer, maybe look into that because I think you are in a position of power to make some changes. Now, depression is fast becoming the world's number
yeah,
one mental health condition. Okay, and it's no joke; it's a real thing. Yeah, but in some culture, in some circle, it's still a bit of a taboo to talk about it openly. So if you are the employer, if you are the boss, you are the manager, you are the leader, CEO, maybe look into that, make some changes because there's an English saying, yeah, happy bees make better honey. And I think healthy bees make better honey as well, right? Nick, do you agree with that?
yeah. Completely agree. And look, just now you point out one very interesting point. You said that 得閒死唔得閒 bang, right? The Cantonese saying that you have time to die, but you don't have time to fall sick.
Mhm.
Now, this, sad but true. This is what is happening to most of us today, right? We are so,
Yeah.
we are in such a competitive environment that we really need to perform in the companies or in our businesses that really have to give our very best. And as a result, we lack time to take care of ourselves, like, having enough time for exercises, to work out. And some people have the luxury of doing that. In fact, I wouldn't say it's a luxury. It's supposed to be an essential to
True.
to to
True.
maintaining a healthy lifestyle. But some
Yeah.
people, they just don't have that privilege.
Mm.
So now, if people who are not they don't have enough time to go and exercise, normally, then they should actually find a suitable method. Everyone should have their own way for them to release the stress, excessive stress, and then bring them back to centeredness so that they have more to offer to the company or to the businesses.
Yeah, so we have about 5 minutes left on this
Mm,
interview. So I
mm.
think, Nick, I would like to ask you, right? So personally, okay, how do you relieve your stress? Let's say you know
Okay.
that, or maybe share with us, please.
Okay, I actually have my own morning routine.
Uh,
So now morning routine is a buzzword right now. So they say that all successful people, they have their own morning routine.
mhm.
Anthony Robbins has his own morning routine, or all the great athlete or CEO in the world, they have their morning routine. So I also created my own morning routine where I actually sit down and meditate for probably an hour. Okay,
Mm,
so that is the first thing that I do after I brush my teeth. So when I wake up in the morning, I go and brush my teeth. Then after that, I'll get into my meditation room, right? Then I'll sit down. Then I will quiet my mind, and then I'll meditate for approximately 1 hour, right?
mhm,
So I find that when I do that in the morning, I have a
mhm.
lot more in my tank, if you know what I mean, right? I have a lot more buffer in my tank that I can take a lot of challenges. I'm able to deal with it with a lot of calmness, and my emotional state is more stable, that I can handle it, whether it's a business issues, or even it's a family issues. I tends to be I will be in a better state, to put it
Yeah.
that way. I'll be in a better state and more conducive state to resolve and overcome all these challenges.
Mhm.
Now, some of you might say, wow, meditation for 1 hour probably is a little bit too much for me, right? So now, um, one of the thing that I would like to share with you is that there's actually a tools that everyone has, right?
Mm.
Everyone has with them a very good tool to help them to relax. Now, can you guess what it is?
Definitely not the mobile phone.
Definitely not the mobile phone, right? And in fact, it's the most crucial or the most vital thing in our lives to keep us alive, and that is our breath.
Yes, that's right. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is
you
our
don't have
breath.
to remind yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and come to think of it, right? Your breath actually tells you a lot about your state, right?
Mhm.
So now, if when people are in high stress, right, when they are experiencing stress or they are in the state that's feeling stress, one thing you will notice is that their breath, right, either they stop breathing altogether, like they freeze, you know. So in fact, when you experience stress, you have three reactions. One, the first one is freeze, you don't move, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a survival mechanism, right? In the wild, right? If
Yeah.
there's a predator, you don't move, and there's a very high chance that he's going to miss you, right?
True.
So you freeze. Then after that, otherwise you fly. That means you run away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't run away, the last resort is to fight.
Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and if you notice, right, when you're in this mode, your breath, you either stop breathing. Now, just imagine that you're driving your car on the road, and suddenly the car in front of you suddenly brake, right? Then what
Mhm.
you do, you take a deep breath, then you hold your breath, then you brake your car, and then bracing yourself for the worst, right?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you notice, right, you're holding your breath, you're not breathing. And
Mm-hmm.
the moment when you finally stop your car and you didn't hit the car in front of you, then what you
Mm-hmm.
do? Then you
You
release
out.
your breath.
Yeah. A sigh of relief. Yeah.
Sigh of
Also,
relief.
like when people go on roller coaster, yeah, especially when they are going up
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's like you can't control this. You will just stop breathing.
Yeah,
It's like
you
you
will just stop breathing.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just stop breathing. You can't control it. Okay,
Yeah.
this is something that is like it happened at the unconscious level. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Nick, really thank you very much for sharing with us the tip on meditation. But because of the time and all that, now, so for viewers, if you want to learn more about what meditation is and all that, comment in the comment section. Let me know. Okay, and then in the upcoming episode, I will also create something on meditation. Yeah, or maybe I can even invite Nick back to come and
Yeah.
share with you all his experiences. Yeah. So Nick, thank you so much for your insightful sharing about stress and why stress is not necessarily an enemy. It's not a foe. Okay, it can be a friend as well. Yeah. So we know that stress is important. Stress is part of what makes us human. And if we approach it positively, if we approach it in the right way, stress can even cause us to give our best, okay, and become a better person. But like all good things, too much of it also can be poisonous, can be a bad thing as well. Yeah. Okay, so Nick, one last question. Yeah. How
Yeah.
can our viewers get in touch with you? All right. How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so I have a website, right? I've created a website. Later on, I'll actually put in the comments. And other than the website that you can find a lot of information, or get in touch with me. I also have a Facebook page myself. And on the Facebook page, basically, I share a lot of videos and also some techniques on some are stress management, some is also emotion management, as I those technique that I find very useful for my clients to manage their emotion issues, that I actually create some videos and share with the people. And most of it is also to share about hypnotherapy and hypnosis, and also the unconscious mind, how you can leverage that to achieve your goals, right? To unleash your full potentials and overcome the limitations that you might have.
So, okay, Nick will leave the website as well as the Facebook page on the link below. So please go and like Nick's Facebook page, okay, so
Thank
that you
you.
can be notified whenever he posts some new things that will be very useful for you. Okay, so thank you so much, Nick. Really appreciate that, and hope to invite you back onto the show sometime again soon. Okay.
Thanks for having me, Luke. It's a pleasure.
All right. Have a good day. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye, guys.
So that was the interview that was done with Nick Ong, and I hope that you have really gotten some useful information from it. So one of the things that I took away from it was that actually stress is not the enemy, okay? It is actually how we approach stress, and also finding the right balance in our life that will enable us to capitalize on stress. Because in the right amount of stress, in the optimum level of stress, it can actually be a motivator, and even a very powerful one at that, all right? But the key here is this: you need to find the balance, okay? So if you find that you are experiencing fatigue or you are experiencing short of temper, etc., or if your body is telling you otherwise, then it will be a good idea for you to actually explore or find professional help, yeah, to deal with your stress. Okay, so that's all the time that we have tonight, and I really want to thank you very much for joining me live today. And next week, I'll be on air again, same place, same time, Friday, 8 p.m. with a brand new episode of The Look Bong Show. So till we meet again next week, wishing you all a wonderful weekend ahead. So take care, guys. See you next week. Good night.